So welcome, 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 our brilliant and beloved sister. We so appreciate your leadership. And as always, at Setsi, we begin all things by giving thanks to our creator. We give thanks to all the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We give thanks to all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation, all those who said freedom or death, whose bones lie at the bottom of the transatlantic. We give thanks to all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers and share a bit about your remarkable work?
Thanks so much for having me. My name's Djaka Blais. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the executive director of Hogan'S Society. We're a Black-led nonprofit rooted in justice, culture, and community, and we're working to advance the political, social, economic, and cultural well-being of people of African descent, Black people through inclusive housing, built spaces, and culturally informed community development. We're really looking to champion policies and projects that center Black voices and rebuild what was lost for our community, as well as reimagine what's possible. And I'm joining you from the unceded and stolen lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for all that you do for so many. Your work is inspiring to say the least and unparalleled in your region. So once again, I just really appreciate all that you do. So my next question is, what's inspiring you right now in your work or what's keeping you up at nights?
I mean, what really inspires me is seeing like the incredible team that we have and the impact that we're having in people's lives. Meeting immediate needs for housing and wraparound supports for some of our most vulnerable community members. I'm also inspired by the opportunity that we have to create spaces of belonging and flourishing for Black communities in Greater Vancouver, places where, people feel seen, they feel rooted, and they really feel proud of themselves and their community. And we're developing culturally informed housing and other spaces for our community. And right now, working on developing our first property into a 12-story mixed-use residential development using Afrocentric design guidelines and informed by the needs of Black communities. And all of that being held within a community land trust. So it's being held within community ownership. And so for me, it's about legacy because we're building something for future generations that's guided by unique needs, histories, cultural practices of Black, African, and Caribbean communities. And really, that's what keeps me motivated every day.
That's incredible. Such a breadth and scope of work, so comprehensive and so impactful. Thank you. So my next question is, what challenges and barriers do you face in your work, and what are some of the approaches you and your colleagues are taking to overcome some of these challenges and barriers?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest challenge we have is working within systems that were never designed with us in mind. Our work exists to ensure that Black communities in Vancouver and the surrounding area can thrive, not just survive, and that they have homes and neighborhoods and institutions uh, but we're doing that within, these institutions that haven't always reflected and supported us. So this proves the need for, this makes it challenging for us to prove the need for programming and services and spaces that are tailored to the needs of Black communities in BC in particular, a place that has like actively erased this historical presence and contributions of Black communities. So we face funding barriers, policies that aren't designed with us in mind, lack of representation in terms of decision making, and how we're working to work through that is by building partnerships, advocating for systemic change, and really also focusing on a culture of care within our organization and how we're partnering with others because we have to be taking care of ourselves and of each other to really be able to navigate through these challenges.
Incredible. And thank you so much for your tenacity and your vigilance. That can't be easy. But once again, I applaud you and your colleagues for all the work that you're doing on behalf of so many. So my next question is, do you have a set of key priorities in your work right now? You alluded to a few, but are there some priorities that you'd like to amplify to our community of practice?
Yeah, so Hogan's Alley Society, we're grounded in like three key areas. Our first one is providing and operating inclusive and culturally informed housing. So we're, you know, operating supportive housing that prioritizes Black and Indigenous community members. It uses a trauma-informed lens, also bringing in cultural supports, and it's built around lived experiences of Black and Indigenous community members. So really, our priority is like strengthening that model and looking to be able to replicate it in other housing and with different partners. And then our second area is actually building purpose-built affordable housing and other social infrastructure for the Black community across Metro Vancouver. So we want to be able to offer housing that is really keeping in mind the needs of Black communities in particular, whether it's in how the buildings, the rooms are designed, the communal spaces, but also how it looks like the architecture, bringing in Afrocentric design um, principles into that. And then our third area is community care and engagement, really providing much needed supports for those that are precariously housed, as well as building partnerships. And then we're working on building out a community archive that will, continue to preserve the important history, Black history in our area, so that it can be available for future generations.
Tremendous work. Thank you. So my second last question, what is your ultimate goal and what does success look like and feel like to you and your colleagues?
Our goal is to really recreate a strong cultural hub for Black communities in Greater Vancouver, like a place that's grounding for Black communities to flourish. And we're envisioning a thriving Black cultural district in the heart of Vancouver. We've signed an agreement with the City of Vancouver to be able to develop that. And we're, um, working towards that goal of bringing in community to help design that and have Black community be, play a key leadership role in the development of our city. And that cultural hub is going to deliver a Black cultural center, affordable housing, childcare spaces, spaces for small businesses, really being able to provide different forms of opportunity for our community.
Incredible, incredible. So my last question, do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and our viewers?
Yes, I mean, thanks so much for the opportunity to share a bit about the work we're doing. We really can't do this on our own, so partnerships are really key for us. And I'd love for people to come and visit our website, which is hogansalley.society.org, learn more about the work and how they can get involved. We're also looking, for people to donate to the Hogan's Alley Society Fund at the Van City Community Foundation. And ultimately, we're looking for strategic partners who, funders, investors, community allies that understand that this is not about charity, it's about investment in a just future for community.
Thank you so much for your visionary leadership, your remarkable integrity, that community-centered Black excellence, but most importantly, from my perspective, the way that you've been able to really epitomize that model of far together versus fast alone. Thank you so much, our beloved sister, for all the work that you do for so many. You really make our ancestors proud. And we'll close this interview, this conversation, the way we began, by giving thanks to our creator, the original stewards of the various lands we're on, to all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation, and to all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you.
Thank you.